Lost in a twisted world of perils devoid of heroism or pancakes, 3 adventurers discover a man who's lost everything, including his memories. Questing together to right wrongs and regain these memories, the party discovers they've secretly been living in a nightmare. Awakened in a world not their own, filled with wonder, beauty, and danger, our heroes try to piece together the truth of their reality and live a new life of pristine dreams. Formerly Hal, a human rogue tricked into a lone confrontation and killed by a knife to the gut, Nyx is the newly reincarnated Genasi with a fear of meeting her former's fate. Raised alongside their cousin Salir by their abusive bandit uncle, Rinverhi escaped to a holy life of worshipping the sun deity Apollo. But are they truly worthy of the light? Orphaned and trained as a monster hunter with only a seemingly sentient cauldron at their side, Bran Gideon wonders if their years alone will see him become what they trained to destroy. A cloak bearing the symbol of a bear claw is the only clue to the forgotten past of the mysterious Kenopsia wormwood. Has their life been a dream all along? Leading our party through the realms of Dread and Beyond is our game master, narrator, and dream master, GM Chavez. Who trapped our heroes in this nightmare land? Why were our heroes really brought here? In the end, is it all just a dream? We'll find out together, right here, on Pristine Dreams. Welcome, everyone, to another exciting adventure here at Pristine Dreams. I am your GM Chavez, leading the way out here with my incredible party down below. Let's go ahead and give them the credit they deserve, and let's go ahead and introduce our party, starting off with the fabulous Cipher down there. Say hello, Cipher.
Hello, my name is Cipher, and I play Nyx, who is an rogue.
Hi, I'm Endo. Sorry, I was laughing at that pause. I'm Endo. I play Rinverhi. He's the healer.
Howdy, I'm Dusk. I play Bran. He is the ranger.
I'm Juno. I play Kenopsia. He's Paladin? Debatably. Who's to say?
Yay!
Yay! Today we are finishing off our adventure that started last time in Session 4 that took us across the Black Forest, through the Awakened Camp. Well, I guess it took us to the Awakened Camp, through the Black Forest, and then finally arriving in Arcadia with a brand new friend of ours that the party has met, Prince Maenalus, who has joined them and guided them through the Black Forest to his home and their destination, Arcadia. So if you have missed out on the previous session, this is kind of the second half of it. So you may want to start with Session 4 and the few episodes that go along with that, and then come on back and check this episode out. But if you are ready to rock and roll, we are too here at Pristine Dreams, and we're going to start Session 5 right now. So we have just arrived in Arcadia. Now, you guys remember that in the Black Forest, it was blisteringly cold. It was almost blizzard-like conditions for a lot of the time you were in there. And then you suddenly turn a corner and find yourself in this very lovely town of Arcadia, which does not seem to have the same overwhelmingly dreary complexion. Instead, this is almost like a springtime landscape with a beautiful sunset on the horizon overlooking some water in the distance. The city is bustling with lots of townsfolk kind of milling around and walking around. Looks lively and beautiful, if not oddly ancient, because the city itself definitely has this ruined kind of motif where these buildings look ancient and kind of like they're kind of falling apart a bit. but it does seem like a very active city. So unlike other ruins you've seen, it looks like this city is just old, has just been around for a long time. And what's interesting is that just from the top of the city itself, you guys notice how up on kind of the high mountaintops, there are a lot of these ancient styles of buildings. But as it kind of teeters down into the valley, there are more and more modern day buildings. Like they get more modern as it goes along, almost to looking like the type of housing and structures that you guys are more used to, the almost kind of medieval fantasy style houses. All right, so you guys find yourself here at the edge of Arcadia, and before you is this illustrious town. So let's have everyone go ahead and make a perception check.
Okay.
Woo!
Interesting.
Kenopsia still a little chilly.
No, he is the cold. Despite being resistant to cold, he's still like, God damn.
Yeah, we were there a while. Yeah.
Well, Kenopsia, as you look out onto this landscape, there is definitely that feeling of like awe, that you're just kind of, wow, you did not expect to see this. To an extent where it's kind of drawing your attention away from everything else. And you're just kind of like fixated on that view. By the same token, Nyx, you are also really enveloped by the view, but you're kind of picking up a lot more details of like the city itself. And like I mentioned, the differences between the mountaintops and the city, and the people looking generally pretty happy, as opposed to a lot of other like towns you may have seen in the past. Like these people look very happy, even though nothing's going on. It's not like the party you guys walked into in O'Dare, but it's just generally like a nice place to be. On the other hand, Rinverhi and Bran, you two both kind of hanging back, watch Nyx and Kenopsia kind of walk past Prince Maenalus to look out into the landscape and admire it a little bit. And both of you kind of staying behind just a step there, also take in the view, but also notice that Prince Maenalus takes a very deep breath, like almost a sigh of relief. He clutches his side, doubles over, and just collapses.
Oh, God!
Oh.
Prince Maenalus! And Rinverhi just, like, kneels down him immediately and once, I think, does a medicine check.
Okay, go ahead and roll it. Nineteen. Nice. All right. So with a 19, you get down there, you start checking him out, and you realize kind of on his left flank, far back, so not in his abdomen, but really on the side of his body, he appears to have some sort of wound. It's odd, though. You haven't really seen the type of wound that it is, because it's not like bleeding, but instead it almost looks like already infected. Like there's just like black kind of like skin and like black goo like coming out of the wound.
Yikes.
But it does look very small, which is odd, and with a 19, I can tell you it's not like a great big giant sword got stabbed in him or something like that, but it looks like he got hurt by something fairly small.
Okay, so like maybe an arrow tip or like a dagger.
Considering you saw those centaurs earlier using arrows, I think, that Rinverhi would be able to piece that together, that this is probably an arrow wound.
Okay, and it does it look like something that happened to him before we found him, or he got struck while maybe earlier when we were facing off the centaurs?
With a 19, in your medical opinion, this wound seems so infected that it should be very, very old, and he should be like super dead.
Okay.
So it's very bizarre
Great.
that he made it this
Great.
far with that wound at all.
Great.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, seeing that he's been carrying this old wound that should have killed him, I think Rinverhi
Yeah.
will immediately like try to use magical healing on him
Okay.
to at least alleviate it, hopefully.
Sure.
So yeah, he's
think-
gonna Oh, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I just wanted to say
yeah.
Kay has been like looking at this view for so long, and then he's like, "Wow, it's really so." Oh.
Yeah, I think
just like, oh, okay.
you hear like the crumple of Prince Maenalus, and then Rinverhi like oh, Prince Maenalus, and then yeah.
yeah. He's just like, oh my.
Oh my
Just like
goodness.
kind of leans over him, and he's just like, "Need I lay on hands?"
No, I think I've got this one. Thank you.
Okay. And just kind of like squats down next to Rinverhi and just like fans Prince Maenalus in his hand. Just like, hey there.
I think Rinverhi he holds the sword in one hand. I don't think he fully unsheathes it, but he just holds under the handle, and he thinks, Apollo, guide my hand, please, and like puts his hand on the wound and casts Cure Wound.
Nice. All right. As you cast the spell, you notice kind of in the typical heal wounds fashion, right?
Mhm.
Like the wound would start to close up and seal, and you'd literally almost watch it in real time, like remend itself when you're doing that type of healing.
Yeah.
And one of the first things when you typically would do a spell like that would on someone that was like poisoned or infected is you'd see that stuff kind of bubble away and like push out of the wound, almost like when you put
Mhm.
peroxide on something and it bubbles
Yeah.
up and foams out. So you do your cure light, and you see the kind of black tendrils that are spreading out from the wound kind of like rise up out of his skin for a second, and they start to get pushed back towards the wound, but they almost kind of start to swell up a bit and just push like further out from the initial wound, almost as though it's affecting a larger area now.
Oh, okay. Bad. Bad.
Would
That
this
fucking
seem-
sucks. Looks real bad.
Yeah, that's a yikes moment, my guy.
Yeah.
I've been trying to think of how to word this, but like, would this be in Bran's wheelhouse of like,
Like to know like a
Monster hunting
poison
shit.
or like if it's a monster
yeah,
toxin or something, you can certainly
exactly.
yeah, you can certainly make a roll to try to determine that. So if you have like nature, go ahead and roll like a nature, or if you want to use something more akin to like animal stuff, I think I'd still leave that under nature. I think let's call both of them just like a nature check, and I'll let you know if it's animal or nature depending on how good your roll is. All right, so you got a fairly decent roll there. Now, what you can tell from that roll is that this is in part like in infection. Like it looks like a type of poisoning that people would get if they've had a wound in them for like a very long time, and the like metals would rust or leach into the skin and then like infect it. But it also clearly has a magical nature to it that isn't something you have seen before. This definitely looks like some like black magic hooji that's like bad stuff going on.
Bran just grimacing.
At the cure wounds not doing anything, and with my 19 medicine check, do I have an idea that if a lesser restoration would help here, or we need to get him somewhere, like to a proper infirmary or something?
I think all things considered, I think with your 19, you'd be more inclined to think probably something is different here than from where I normally am. And my normal methods of healing this person are not going to help. So I should probably seek out something else.
Okay. Yeah, I think at seeing like the cure wounds just kind of push the poison around, Rinverhi horrified. But doesn't panic, keeps cool, and he's like, we need to get him into the city. We need to find an infirmary.
Is he still like conscious, like coherent?
Nope, he is out cold.
Oh shit.
Yeah, at this point he's kind of doing the like shivering, sweating thing, which seems really weird because you were just so cold. So I shouldn't say it's weird, but bad that you're like, okay, he's like really sick because he's like sweating and we were just somewhere super cold.
Yeah. And at that, Rinverhi, he'll look to Kenopsia and Bran near him, and just asks, "Can you help carry him?"
Bran is already on it, like hooking his like arm, or taking the arm on his good side and like hooking over his like shoulder, kind of like holding him up through the side. Or by the side.
I think this could be like a 2-person thing. Because I think from what I've seen, Prince Maenalus seems to be, he's not a twink.
Yeah, he's
also wearing armor, isn't he? Yeah.
He's also wearing like an armor, big fur coat. So I imagine that's a little extra weight. So Kay is taking the other side of him to help carry him.
Yeah, I don't doubt Bran could do it solo, but it would certainly make more sense for 2 people to do it together.
Yeah.
So,
the help is appreciated.
It doesn't take much for you all to get him up and kind of mobile again, in the sense that his feet are kind of dragging a little bit, but you can move him. So given the landscape that you guys have noticed, do you have any thoughts on where you may want to be taking him?
Then away a little bit. Okay. I mean, looking at the landscape here, like just looking at the picture, I'm not seeing like a clear place where we may want to take him. But I think Rinverhi's thinking is like trying to look for something that looks like a clinic or like a hospital.
Okay.
The fantasy equivalent.
Well, definitely in your experience, the better healers would always be kind of on the palace side of things. So the richer an area would look or seem would probably be where you could find the best healers at. And again, though the technology seems to advance as you go down the hill, it definitely seems as though the largest, most palace-like structure is this one that you can see at the top of the mountain here.
Okay. Yeah, I think Rinverhi starts heading in that direction.
All right. So if everyone's kind of heading that way for a little bit, and you've got the prince kind of in tow, you guys are kind of on the outskirts of all this, so you kind of have to climb down some little mountainy areas that aren't quite bricked up or anything yet, kind of like you came in a weird side of the forest. But as you're kind of doing that, let's have everyone make like a climb check, or at least Bran and Kenopsia, like make a climb check to try to get Maenalus down a kind of rough terrain.
What would you like that to be? Because I don't think there's an exact check for climbing. I think there's athletics.
Yes, let's definitely do athletics. Okay. Yeah. I don't really think we can acrobatics an unconscious person there. That's
no.
We're gonna fling him out there.
Juggle him. Yeah.
I need athletics because I suck shit at acrobatics. So
we also need to consider like covering Maenalus. Possibly.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
Since
it would probably look very suspicious. These 4 strangers carrying the unconscious prince through the city. Yeah, that's a good point. Rinverhi is not thinking about that. So,
How do you what is done to cover him?
Yeah.
Because unless this is void, this is something Nyx is doing on her own.
Nyx would, but I don't know if she has anything.
You've got Grandma's cloak from Rava.
We use it.
So you throw the cloak over top of now do you put it on and use the hood to cover his face, or are you just literally draping it over his head like a blanket over his whole head?
Like a blanket.
Okay.
Cover that up.
Don't mind him. That's our friend. He had a little too much.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'd figure the hood part would be oh, my friend's drunk or whatever, but just throwing it over his head like a blanket seems I don't know, he's mutilated or something.
No. Oh my god.
She's considerate. She's not sentimental.
Right.
So either way, with your combined efforts of a 9 and 18, Kenopsia seems to be making up for the bulk of carrying Maenalus, and manages to get down the mountainside while Bran kind of finds a good path to get down. And you guys manage to collectively make it down this little mountain pass without too much trouble. And now you guys have gotten to kind of the edge of the city, and people are noticing you guys. Clearly you're, knocking rocks and dirt loose and stuff. And some of the nearby people are looking
sorry, my bad, sorry.
I think with the people looking at them, Rinverhi asks one of the nearest people where is your we need a healer. Where can we find one?
You need a healer?
Yes.
Our best healers are down in the valley there. They cost a good amount of money though. I can show you. My place has very, very good healers.
Can I insight? I feel like I'm being grifted.
Absolutely, yeah. Go ahead.
Immediately.
Can I also insight while I'm over here?
Sure.
Same.
No, seems legit to me.
I got 18.
No, even with an 11, it seems a little bit. Yeah, nice, dude. Yeah, even with an 11, it seems a little sus. With an 18, you're just dude, what are you trying to sell here? And Bran, you're just absolutely, this person is just trying to get our business.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not trying to be rude or not help you or whatever, but it's just oh, here's some strange person asking me for help. I have a business. I like to eat. So they're not trying to be a jerk. They're just trying to get your business. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they are kind of approaching you guys somewhat cautiously. And they're almost reaching out towards the cloak. They want to peek what kind of aid do you need? And they want to take a peek.
Nyx swats him.
No. It's whoa.
I was about to say, Bran just growls at him.
Oh god.
He's in very severe condition. I would not lift the cloak.
Oh, but forgive me. Where are my manners? You all are guests of Arcadia. I can tell by the look of you. You are from a place beyond. So forgive me for not giving you my most respect. Let me start over.
It's quite all right. Yes, we've been through quite the ordeal in the Black Forest. We're actually in a bit of a hurry, so it's all right. We can skip pleasantries for now.
Well,
we're in a bit of a rush. Yes.
I appreciate that.
Rinverhi Drahar shakes his hand really quick.
Rinverhi, I appreciate it. My name is Stavros.
Stavros, well met.
Yes.
Well, I don't believe our companion can handle the trip down the mountain again, so I think we'll be looking around up here. But you said you have a business in the village down there.
I do, yes, I do. And if you are in such straits, perhaps I can escort you over to the palace instead if you want to speak with some officials about your visit to Arcadia and help for your friend.
Most appreciated, yes.
Magnificent, even.
Yes. Well, Rinverhi, follow me then. Follow me. And he kind of turns to his companions, and you can tell he's kind of telling them, "Hey, man, I'll catch up later." You know.
Mm-hmm.
And the other people are kind of like, "What the fuck?" And they just get out of there.
This is weird. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Stavros definitely just seems like he's like, "This is some interesting shit. I'm gonna see what's
exactly.
going on now."
Maybe I can get something out of this, and I do not blame him for that line of thinking.
So he starts leading you guys up the that like long staircase there. So you guys are on the one that's kind of closer to us in the image. And there's lots of people hustling about up there. You can tell they have wares and different things like that as they're moving up and down. And they all seem like I said, just happy-go-lucky kind of folks. And everyone is kind of like giving you like pleasantries and nods and stuff. But you are getting like a probably 70-30 split of like, okay.
Yeah.
These people.
Yeah, any eye contact that anyone happens to make with Kenopsia, he just kind of gives them a brief smile and a nod. Please don't look at the man that has a blanket over his head. Please only pay attention to me, the weird man in the blue cloak.
I'm hoping it helps just a little bit to have like a local who runs a business with us around, so we're not just complete strangers with this clothed body going through town.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because a family does come walking down the steps beside you guys who does have some younger kids and things. And they're kind of looking and like cuddling up next to their parents more. And they're just like, no, those are outsiders. They're okay. They're nice, aren't they? Oh, look, they're with Stavros, you know? And he's just like, hello. Yes, hello. These are some new friends, new visitors to Arcadia. And they're like, well met, you know?
Well met, yeah. Very well met. Well met. Naughty.
Well met. Yes. Good morning. Yes.
So
two holy men just having a very nice time greeting people.
Everything fine. Yes. So it takes you guys quite a bit to get up these stairs, right? They're very, very large, you know? So it's almost like you have to take 2 steps to like get to where you take the next step, you know?
Yeah.
But you guys finally kind of reach the top of the mountainside here. And Stavros has been pretty extraordinarily quiet. Like he has not asked you any other questions this entire time. Although, like I said, it's taken you several minutes to get up here. And when you guys get to the top, you see that there is like kind of a beautiful like circular door. And in front of it,
I love doors. Oh no! Oh no!
Is
the statue. It's
wrestle him for entry. Go, Bran. Go,
Bran.
Cracks knuckle.
So you notice there are several of these like Hoplite soldiers that are like standing around up here. And this one kind of steps to the center of the door as you guys approach and just puts a hand up like, outsiders, welcome to Arcadia. What business have you in the palace?
Rinverhi,
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
He waits for a minute because he was wondering if Stavros was going to say something, but seeing Stavros is letting us handle our business, he steps up and he says, well met. My name is Rinverhi Drahar. My companions and I, we have traveled through the Black Forest, and we have Prince Maenalus, and he needs help.
So you can't see this soldier's face, but his body language is definitely like what?
Yeah.
You know?
What?
And the other guards around you kind of like move in quickly, and they're like drawing like their swords, not in an aggressive way, but in a like, you know, I'm gonna pull my sword out and approach someone, you know?
Yeah.
Just to be like, don't you try something.
Yeah.
So as they do, they kind of are making their way towards Bran and Kenopsia very quickly, and they want to see if what you're saying is true. They want to pull the cloak
Mhm.
off, you know?
Yeah. Kenopsia will very carefully, like, you know, just like steady himself, and he's just like, relax. He's fine for the most part. And then I'll like pull back the blanket very carefully and
Okay.
just ta-da!
So yeah, you
There
kind
he
of
is.
you pull the cloak off his head. Actually, let's roll a dexterity saving throw for me.
No, don't do that. Don't do that.
Right?
I'm a little baby. Don't do that. No. Okay, that. Honestly, that could have been a lot worse. That's
Not bad at all. That is not bad at all.
I have a
Yeah.
-1 to my dexterity.
Okay, so yeah, that was not bad then. So with a 14, you kind of pull the cloak back, and Maenalus' head is kind of propped up like this, and he's just, you know, his head rolls over as he's kind of passed out. But you didn't do it in a way that was weird or offensive or anything. And there was clearly this moment where everyone had relief, that they were like, oh, the prince is there. Like, why are you covering his face? What are you doing? Then they see him and they're like, oh, thank God. And then his head droops like that. And they're definitely like, one guy just shouts, they've killed the prince.
He's not dead.
You shut your fucking mouth now.
Kenopsia's just lay down. He's not dead. He's hurt.
There is an infection spreading in him. We must take him to a healer immediately.
Yeah.
And the guys kind of rush over, and so like I said, there's a number of these guards at the top of the hill, right? And in front of the doorway here. They have now like encroached upon you guys, and you're you know, I assume you guys are kind of like offering them Maenalus, like, no, he's fine, but he needs some help. You know, so they are like trying to get to him and take him away from you guys. So if you'll let him, they are going to do that. But they are going to also try to grab you guys and be like, you're not going anywhere, kind of a thing, you know?
Oh yeah. I mean, Kay wasn't making any motions of leaving anyway. I think
Yeah.
like, once they take Maenalus away from them, Kenopsia just stands there, hands kind of like resting behind his back, and he's just like watching, waiting, and he's just like, need we go?
So they've essentially got you guys kind of surrounded, you know, like I said, with their blades out and stuff. And the head guy there is just like, you have a lot to answer for. Come inside. And he turns around.
We are here as friends. We are not your enemy. And what's Stavros looking like during this?
Stavros, like, he's kind of like, well, I don't even know these people.
Oh yeah. They're not including him in this. He just stepped back. Okay, good.
But this guy kind of throws open the door, and you can feel them kind of reaching out and like putting hands to be like, walk, move forward, you know? And they want you guys to kind of enter the palace there. So what do you guys do?
How's Nyx looking?
Yeah.
Pissed.
Okay. But like not looking like she doesn't want
Murder pissed.
Or murder pissed.
Yeah, what's your reaction to these guys kind of almost like pushing you forward?
So she doesn't like that. At first, like when things were starting, like they were starting to surround them, she almost like touched her blade, but she looked at her companions and decided to kind of go with their example. So she's moving along a little bit, but she looks really suspicious. And I'm wondering if there's a check she can make to kind of see if there's anything, you know, anyone else around or anything else going on besides this crowd of people.
What are you kind of looking for? Like something that you could use as a distraction, or just as something else riling these guys up?
Yeah, maybe like distraction.
Okay, go ahead and make a perception check.
She bites her own inside of her cheek, I guess.
Yeah. So with a 6, you kind of glance around for a second, and one of the guards near you is like very trying to think of the right way to say it, but in a very like offensive way. Like he has some sort of weird dislike, in his words, when he says to you, "Don't look around, demon. You go with your friends, and you get what's coming to you."
Kenopsia's head turns, and he's just
Everyone is staring daggers.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
"Oh, your demon friend here is looking around all shifty like. We don't appreciate that. Don't think you can try
Do
anything."
not call her that.
Yeah.
We are not here as enemies. We are here to see to the prince being safe. We're here
And she's
on
a fire genasi, first of all.
You bring our
Put some
prince nearly
respect
dead
on her
and say
name!
that you mean us no harm? And this main guy is just like, enough. And, the other dude kind of rears back a little bit. And he's like, outsiders, inside, now.
Is this guy the guy who went enough? Is he clearly like the guard captain?
Oh, yeah. This dude definitely looks
Okay.
way more badass than everybody else.
Okay, cool.
Like, everyone else does have the helmet, but this dude has, like, the big ruffly
Right. Okay,
Like, yeah.
cool.
fur.
The big
up top.
feather.
Yeah.
The feather.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Rinverhi, like, he hasn't said anything while everybody's, like, glaring at this offensive guard, but he just, like, gives him this, like, one final, like, glower, and then, like, turns back to face the guard captain and follow him.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
Kay is going to give him one last longing glare, and then he will also turn, just like that searing white hot
Yeah.
stare, literally, and just kind of like glaring through him into his very being. And then he turns and he's just like, waste of my time, and continues to walk
Mhm.
aside.
Not even worth a stab.
No.
Not right now.
Not even-
We'll find
not
you
even
later,
worth-
motherfucker. No.
Yeah, I'll spit. Like, I'm not. Listen, I would spit on you, but you are not worth my spit,
Yes.
bitch.
All right. So you notice that, like, kind of offensive guard, like, someone else kind of puts a hand up to, like, hold him back. And it seems about half the people that were surrounding you are going to remain outside, and the other half are going to kind of follow you in. So I'd say there's
Okay.
probably, 6 guys following you in and 4 or 5 remaining outside, and then the lead kind of captain guy ahead. And
Mhm.
as he leads you guys into the palace, you guys can see this place is beautiful, right? It's got just big marble columns down the whole stretch. It is super huge. His kind of iron footsteps just echo through this place like you wouldn't believe. And in an odd way, like, everything is painted in like very vibrant colors, which is kind of not what you are used to seeing from these kind of ancient structures. Like, typically they're almost all white all the time. But this one seems like it gets repainted frequently, despite that the marble and everything else is kind of breaking down,
What kind of bright colors are they using? Is it like jewel tone or like
it's mostly like
rainbow?
it's like blues and purple, and then but like a lot of black. Like, there's a lot of, like, I guess more shades of gray, like kind of how this guy's cloak is like a gray, like
Okay.
yeah, like, so it uses that gray to kind of bridge between like some kind of navy-ish blues and then like royal purples.
Okay. Is this a sort of color scheme that was seen throughout the city? Or it's just very present here in the palace? And does Maenalos's clothes also kind of bear the same color?
Roll a perception check to see if you can tie all those things together. Should be an insight, really, or investigation rather. We'll stick with a perception. That's fine.
Okay. Well, I got a 13.
Yeah, lucky. So yeah, with a 13, you've been kind of like because you took such a good look at Maenalus when you guys first met him, trying to see whether or not he was like actually a royal person or not, you do notice that a lot of that kind of patterning that is on his cloak and stuff like that. I'll pull his photo back up so you guys can see. But yeah, a lot of that kind of filigree and stuff like that is all over his cloak and design definitely kind of matches the decor here. And you realize like he actually does have more of like a bluish kind of navy look to his cloak. It was just that kind of bleak white light of the forest made it look more gray than it really was.
Right. Okay.
So he definitely seems to match that kind of navy, that sort of elegant filigree kind of ornament everywhere kind of seems to match as well.
Okay. And about the cuffs we found him in, did they also match the same sort of ornate theme? Or did it not match at all?
I would say they definitely looked like they were made by someone else.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's all my questions for now.
Okay, no worries. So still ornate and patterned, but not in a style that reflects like his outfit or anything you see here.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. So as you guys kind of head inside, you can see some of those other guards are like taking Maenalus somewhere very, very quickly, like just away off to the side of the building. And the captain guy, who's like clearly walking ahead of you guys by a few paces at this point, he again is like he's doing that kind of hard chargy stomp thing that you guys saw Maenalus doing earlier. So he is moving with a lot of purpose and, like I said, causing a ruckus in this place. On the far side, there are a small set of stairs that lead up to like a landing that looks like more of an area where people would hang out and like talk and have services and things like that. Almost like a stage, right? But not for performances, but for audiences, you know? And up on that stage, there seems to be a number of people doing exactly that. Like they're sitting around having conversations about different things. It looks very much like almost like a Senate type thing, you know, where there's a lot of people talking about a lot of different things. They have tables where they're writing stuff and little plans and things like this. But there's clearly a portion in the center that seems reserved for special people. And as the captain is kind of clamoring through the building, you hear a hush kind of fall over the like, let's just say politicians out there, right? They're kind of, a hush is falling over them as more and more of them kind of notice and look over at you guys coming in. And as the captain gets about halfway down, you can hear him shout, my king, outsiders have come with news of your lost son." Right? And he falls to a knee and like puts a hand over his chest like this. The others kind of walk you up behind him. But everyone kind of like is slowing to a stop behind the captain. Do you guys stop there or do you keep moving forward?
I think Rinverhi would go as long as like he's like they're trying to lead him, but if the guards stop, Rinverhi will stop too.
Yeah, Kenopsia comes to a complete halt when there's like no more further instruction to be moving. Okay, I'll stand here. I'm chilling.
Okay. So you guys are kind of standing at half court with all these people kind of turned around looking at you. And a lot of these folks look like the same people you saw out in the town, like dressed the same. So it's almost like their financial status isn't very different than the common person. But these folks look a lot older. They have a lot of big beards and longer hair for the ladies and stuff like that. A lot of people with white hair and things, you know? So they definitely look like the old wise people of the town. And in the center, as the people kind of part in that opening in the center, you see like a large throne. And the other big motif here is gold. Like everything's very gold, right? And if not gold, brass or bronze or something that can be made to look like gold. So there is a gorgeous golden throne in the center that is very large and very obvious, right? Like it's ostentatious. And there is a very large man sitting in it who everyone kind of looks to him to be like, what do you say? And this guy has like a dark, shifty look. And he's looking at the four of you guys, and you're basically looking into the shadow, right, of him. He's not quite in the light. He's obscured by all this bright, gold, shiny stuff around him. And you just see his eyes kind of watching you guys. He stands up abruptly, the light basking across his face. And he says, "What news do you bring me of my son?"
Oh, he's so
Smash.
nice. He's so friendly.
Smash.
Oh, okay. So I know Maenalus mentioned his father's name. I forgot it.
That's okay. It was King Lycaon.
King Lycaon. Okay. So unless someone else wants to talk, Rinverhi's gonna step
No.
again.
Yeah, I think Nyx is actually going to speak up
Okay,
this
cool.
time. She's going to say, "He lives."
Yay.
Let's have everyone roll an insight check.
Okay. That's a dirty 20.
Nice. 23, 19, Woo.
16.
16. All right. So yeah, everybody who got the two over 20s definitely noticed that there's almost like a hint of like surprise and like genuine kind of surprise at that news. The two who got over a 15 as well as the over 20s, all of you guys, I should just say, right? So all of you guys notice that he definitely takes a beat. Like there's a beat there where he's smiling, and that smile's like challenged a little bit for a second, almost as though he's concerned of what was about to happen, like what you were about to say. And he's genuinely, the two over 20s are like, he's genuinely surprised to hear that his son's alive.
Mm.
Okay.
But
Sus.
he does have this moment where he's like just smiling at you guys and just dead still. And it's like a weird moment that all four of you pick up on, where he's just,
Yeah. Kenopsia's eyes kind of like shift, and he's just, "King, your son, he's alive. Are
This
you
is outstanding news.
unpleasured?" Oh, thank goodness.
Now, where is my son?
Well, he was
You know
killed by
my
your
dying.
powers
guards.
better than I do.
Wait. One at a time, please. You there. You speak to me.
Who he pointing at?
Oh, here, let's roll a d4 and we'll see who he's pointing at.
Oh God, please point to Bran, please.
We're just going to go left to right. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh,
Oh,
no.
okay. Kenopsia, he pointed at you.
Fuck! Okay.
Haha, public speaking.
Kenopsia. Fuck you! Yeah, Kenopsia's like pointed at, and I think he's just like, "Oh, well, I would assume you know your palace better than I do. Your son was taken away by some very skilled looking clerics." And he says that, and his eyes got a narrow, and he's like, "I don't fucking know, man." And then he looks back up to the king. "I just got here, man. I don't know what's going on." And then I'll look back up to the king, but he's alive, injured, and it seems like he has some sort of wound that won't heal, but he's here somewhere. I don't know where.
Just to mention, I rolled on Bran's page. I'm sorry about that. That's why it has your portrait down there for the 4. That's funny.
How dare you roll up my page? Shut
I just
How dare
imagine
you-
that as
Yeah.
Bran pointing to Kenopsia, like, no, talk to him.
No, it's him. Look at him instead.
No, I will say there's a very definitive moment where he kind of, you speak to me, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
He definitely chose you, but the
It's because of my sexy blue cloak.
He takes a minute to process what you said, and he's like, they've taken him to be healed. Wounded then.
Yeah.
Not mortally?
I'm hoping not. It didn't look mortal, but I'm no cleric. I only have what I can use my hands for. And he'll like hold up his hands and they'll like glow with this light. And then he just lowers them.
Outsiders who have come here with magic. This is quite a treat indeed. Well, in our most sacred traditions, I welcome you to Arcadia. And
Thank you.
it is my duty to inquire whether you need food or lodging.
So Nyx's eyes were narrowed, but he said food.
It's like,
All right, you're all right. Yeah. You gonna feed me?
All right.
So yeah, so I didn't mean to interrupt. I know he was speaking, but I just wanted it to be noted that she perked up just a little bit.
Yeah, no
perked
worries.
up at the
dude.
thought of food.
No,
Yeah.
it means it means a lot. Yeah. Very important.
So he looks down and he's like, Captain, have these outsiders cleaned up and brought to the dining hall. We will feast now at the news of my son's return. And he looks to the people around him and he just kind of like just casually waves his hands like, fuck off. You know? And they're just like, yes, sir. And they start packing up their shit, you know?
All right.
And
That's great.
you see him kind of walk down from the pedestal in front of you guys, and he doesn't quite make it to like the captain ahead of you, but he gets a good, 3/4 of the way towards you. So you do get a pretty good look at the guy. Very fit,
Nice
very
dance.
strong.
Yeah. Don't hit on the king. Don't hit on the king.
I'm gonna hit on the king, baby. Hail to the king, baby.
Yes.
Yes.
Let's have everyone else roll another perception check real quick.
Okay.
Pew,
14.
21, 14. The Ocho. And 11.
Ever since the king has like been staring at everyone, Bran's just been staring back like dog style.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Rinverhi the entire time has been he's looked like not very friendly, pleasant enough, because like the guards have been very stern, so he's it's like he's on his guard but respectful for
Sure.
seeing the king. But
Yeah.
then I think at the offer of food and lodging, he relaxes a little bit and he doesn't speak up because he's been talking to Kay, but he does this very like subtle, polite little half bow at that, and then just waits for the king, just watches the king approach.
So as he's kind of walking towards you guys, right? So Nyx, you're looking at this dude and you're kind of having that moment of like, I bet I could take this guy. Like you're sizing him up, right? Like how
Oh my
bad would
God.
this fight sort of
Oh
be?
my God.
So you're
Oh
not
my God.
exactly paying attention to him. Bran, we know what you're doing, and you're not exactly paying attention.
Dogging everyone. Dogging them.
He starts like
He's just
walking.
built like this.
He starts walking down towards you guys, and as he's like beelining straight for the captain, and then right as he gets that 3/4 of the way, he just veers off and starts heading to the side. And Kenopsia and Rinverhi, both of y'all notice that he's heading towards that direction where they took Maenalus. So it's both of you can kind of assume, oh, he's going to go actually check on his son. Like he wants to go
Mhm.
see him.
Makes sense.
Rinverhi, with the 21, you notice that like this dude is diesel, right? Like he's a big, very strong guy. And most of the time when you see people like that, they have a sort of chunky gait to them. They walk with a little like, brr, brr, brr,
Yeah.
But you're watching this dude like walk straight towards you and you're like, this dude is like fucking graceful,
Yeah, yeah.
He just moves with a kind of suave that's like, wow, swanky. And the way that he turned was like so elegant. And you know, it makes his little cape flutter and everything. And you know, Bran's just like, you know. But no, it is the kind of thing where everyone notices that like little flourish, but to each person, it may mean something a little bit different. You know, where Nyx is like, yeah, I'd wrap that cape around his neck and choke him out, you know? But you're the only one that kind of picks up on this sort of odd gracefulness to a man his size.
Yeah. Like there's more than what we're seeing on surface level. Like he looks like he's just like beefcake tank warrior type.
Yeah.
But there's this, the elegance to his movement suggests maybe, you know, he's more capable of stealth or dexterous fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Something to watch out for, I think Rinverhi is thinking.
Mm.
But also like, well, that was cool.
So as you guys are kind of hanging out there, the captain like gets up on his knee and the king kind of wanders off down that other corridor, and the captain turns around and you can tell the 4 guards behind you, you can hear they're like sheathing their swords and stuff, you know, so everything seems cool now. And the captain is like, take these 4 to see if they want to get cleaned up. Show them a room that they can sleep in should they need. And like 4 of the guards and the captain kind of head back towards the doorway like they're going to leave. And 2 of them stay with you guys and are kind of like, all right, come with us and we'll show you the way over here. And
Lovely.
they
I'm
start
due for a wash.
they start leading you in the opposite direction from where the king went. And they take you down a little corridor and a path and a turn, and you guys get to really see this incredibly ornate building and just how many passages and different routes there are in it.
Kay is overwhelmed by all of it. Like, he's very interested by it, but he's like, oh my fucking god, I don't think I've ever been surrounded by anything that looks this nice ever. It's kind of freaking him out a little bit.
Well,
Brad offers his head to Kay.
aw.
What was that?
Old.
Brad offers his hand to Kay.
Oh.
Yeah, I think Kay doesn't notice it at first, and they'll like look down, and he looks away, and he looks back, and he's like, oh, and then he'll like link arms with Bran because I think he's too shy to hold hands, and so he'll just like link arms instead. And he's just like, I don't think I've ever been in a building of this size ever. Quite
It's
grand,
certainly a lot to take in.
isn't it? Okay, Chavez, I guess you can fucking DM.
Oh no, you're good.